Hello friends, myself Abhinav Gautam, and in this video I will be explaining the history portion for UPSC Civil Services examination. As you all know, history is covered by both prelims as well as main examination. So let us proceed further. First, just look at the importance of the subject. In prelims examination, it covers approximately around 15 to 20 questions, and in main examination, it is covered under General Studies Paper 1. Which is of total 250 marks, and around 40 to 45% weightage is given to history. That is around 100 to 110 marks. And if we talk about the number of questions, then every year we have around 7 or 8 to 10 questions in General Studies Paper 1 from history. So regarding the syllabus, prelims considers ancient history, medieval history, modern history, Indian heritage and culture. Ancient history is basically from Indus Valley to till the advent of Muslims, Islam. Medieval history is from the advent of Islam to the advent of Europeans. Modern history from advent of Europeans till the 1947. And Indian heritage and culture is basically all the traditions and cultural aspects of Indian society till now, from the beginning till now. It does not have any time limit or any time frame. It covers each and every aspect of Indian traditions. Whereas syllabus regarding the main examination covers Indian heritage and culture, modern history and world history. World history for the general studies paper is basically after the 17th century, advent of 17th century, and to be more precise, after the American Revolution. But to study a particular event in the history, you have to look at least 200 years back into the history. So therefore, I was saying from the advent of 17th century, world history will be considered in general studies paper. If we look at the pattern of the UPSC examination, the most important point for prelims examination is first, this is unpredictable. And this is an inevitable truth. Means we have to accept it, and we have to keep ourselves ready for each and every scenario. We have to prepare for every topic without leaving any loophole. As you can see the pattern, in 2014 prelims focus was on Indian heritage and culture, whereas in 2015 prelims focus was on modern history. According to the pattern, as I already mentioned, this requires a comprehensive study without any weak point, without any loophole. So, about the sources and approach, but before we move on to the sources and approach, let us clear out some myths regarding history. The first myth regarding history which comes into mind is we have to learn a lot of names, we have to memorize a lot of dates. While this is not true, when you are preparing for UPSC examination, you do not have to worry about dates and names. Once you will start reading history, then important names or important dates will automatically be memorized by you. So there is these are not relevant to the examination. So, and the next point is you have to do a lot of cramming. See, one thing is, as I already mentioned, to study every event in the history, we have to look at least 200 years back into the history. So if we are not going backwards, if we are not understanding the proper consequences and reasons, then only we have to do a lot of cramming. But if you are properly understanding the causes, the reasons for a particular event and its after effects, how it is affecting the another event in the history, then I will say cramming is not at all required. You just have to study social, economic, political and religious aspect of a contemporary period, and you will be able to easily correlate the situations, the contemporary conditions in the time period. Third thing is, it's a segregated study, means ancient history is different, modern history is different, medieval history is different. Well, I will not agree with this part, because each and every history is related to related to one another and having a link. Means ancient is linked to medieval, medieval is linked to modern. So I will not prefer a segregated study. Yeah, a proper linked study is recommended. Now moving on to the textbooks and study material. For prelims, NCERT for class 6th, 7th and 8th, particularly the old edition. Second book which I recommend is An Introduction to Indian Art. This is NCERT class 11th textbook in fine arts. This is a very good book. You do not have to do the selective study, as the book is quite brief. So I will prefer if you go through it once and prepare a short notes in not more than 200 to 300 words per topic. That will be much more beneficial to you. And third book for prelims is NCERT class 12th Bipin Chandra 2004 edition. This is also NCERT, and so for prelims you do not have to go through those heavy books of public publishers and authors. So you just follow the NCERTs and your job will be done. Yeah, for mains in-depth study is required. So for Indian heritage and culture, An Introduction to Indian Art, the book which has already been mentioned in the prelims examination, will also be helpful in main examination. Second is A Comprehensive Study of Indian Heritage and Culture by S.K. Pandey and Umesh Shukla. Regarding this book, I will recommend that if you do a particular, a particular approach which is selective in nature, means this book I will recommend mainly for language and culture, Indian dance, Indian drama, Indian cinema, Indian music, but not the complete book. The Indian art and architecture which is mentioned in this book has already been covered by the previous book which is mentioned in this presentation. So just go for the selective study. Do not read complete book as a novel from first word to the last word. No, that is not at all required. So my point over here is just go for the relevant portions, the portions which are relevant in your UPSC examinations. So, and the third one is the Gazetteer of India for Society, Religion and Literature. You can easily find this on internet. So this Gazetteer will be really helpful for understanding the Indian society, which will help in definitely help in Indian society part of this GS paper 1, as well as in the part of in the portion Social Justice for General Studies paper 2. So coming on to modern history, NCERT of class 8th, class 12th, part 3rd and 2004 edition NCERT, which has already been mentioned by Bipin Chandra. And the second book which I recommend is India's Struggle for Independence by Bipin Chandra. So over here also, regarding this second book by Bipin Chandra, I will recommend selective study. Means this book is relevant after the formation of Congress, and to be much more precise, after the completion of 1857 revolt. After that till 1947, you can do some selective study and prepare short notes in 200 to 300 words in your own language. In your own language, I will put this in double quotes because this is very important that you prepare your own language. Now coming on to the world history, as I already mentioned, in general studies paper we have to study the world history since American Revolution. And as I mentioned that to study any event in the history, we have to go back at least 200 years in the history. So I will recommend if you start world history from 17th century. For this, NCERT class 10th 2002 edition, I think it is by the writer Arjun Dev. And from this book also you have to do the selective study. Do not read the Indian national movement part from that book, as that has already been covered by the modern history part. So the next book is Themes in World History, NCERT class 11th new edition. Excuse me. So as in this case also, selective study is required, not the study of the complete book or the whole text. Just the relevant portion from this book, basically industrial revolution and society in 16th or 17th century. So this has these books are recommended basically for world history. So now till now we know what to study, but we are not at all aware about the right approach or how to study or how to proceed history. So as I already mentioned, for history a comprehensive study is required. Means you cannot segregate the study. You cannot study ancient in a different pattern. You cannot study medieval in a different pattern. Yeah, for ease you can have different books. You can have different texts. You can have different note making for ancient, medieval and modern. But all these three parts should be linked. They should establish proper reason and a relationship with each other. So a comprehensive study is required. If you segregate the study, that will make the things much more complex. Analyzing social, economic, political and administrative conditions of major kingdoms. See, basically a society is formed by a family. A family is strengthened by a strong economy. Economy is strengthened by strong political institutions, and strong political institutions require proper administrative setup to function. So this sequence should be followed. I recommend this sequence. Means if you try to reverse this sequence, then also you will face some complexities. So keep the things simple and just follow this sequence. The next thing is do selective study from textbooks. As I already mentioned several times in my presentation, use the textbooks. Don't use them as novels. Use them in relevant cases only. Means try to gather information which is relevant to your examination only. The next thing is writing answers. This should be written in your own language, and this should probably be compiled with the note making. Means let us say I was reading social setup of Gupta administration of Gupta dynasty, let us say. So just prepare a short note of 200 to 300 word. What was the society, what was the composition, and what was the main features of the society, role of women, yeah, that is more important, role of women, and status of women, to be very precise, and similar kind of relevant information. It's not going to the much, don't just try to gather more and more information. Just try to keep the answer simple. Aksh Academy, a venture for spreading sustainable education, committed to provide quality education and sustainable price by eminent professors and scientists of various IITs and reputed universities. For online test series and study material, please visit www.akshacademy.com. Thank you.